netizens of our beautiful African continent and everybody else across the world. This is Brawili and I am flying with...
Okay, I'm Vince West as usual on the eNitiate Visual Radio Show.
Yeah, and you are obviously going to be spending another hour with us.
Yes.
We've got some awesome stuff that we're going to be sharing today. And by the way, we've got some interesting stuff that we have cooked for tonight. We will tell you more about it. I must just indicate that we have with us Sitawa Wafula from Kenya. Hello, Sitawa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, and you?
Yes, I can hear you.
I did say that I was not going to give up on you, eh? Thank you for being patient with us.
Yeah.
How are things?
Okay, but I want to say in front of everyone, I was tricked to be on today's show.
Well, we had to do whatever we had to do to get you online, eh? I'm so glad that you could make time to be with us tonight. That's why we decided to start with you here on eNitiate Visual Radio, which is hosted on www.radiojunto.co.za. So let's get into it, Sitawa. We've got lots and lots of stuff that we need to talk about because it's been 2 weeks that we've been missing you. Sitawa? This is what happens when you put all your hope and faith on the internet. And obviously, we did say that we're not going to be speaking anything negative on this radio, but we are in Africa and we know that bandwidth is a bit of a challenge. So let's try again. Sitawa, can you hear me now? Man, signal is not working as well as we want it to. We've just lost Sitawa, but we will try and reconnect with her so that we can get this show on the road.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely try because she's not the only connection that we're going to be making. We've also got lined up a chat with the executive director and co-founder of Bongohive, which is an IT hub located in Zambia. So we've got that coming through at about 8:40 on tonight's program.
By the way, you listening to eNitiate Visual Radio?
And we come through every Wednesday between 8 and 9 o'clock. We are representing a digital solutions company.
Yeah, I know that each time it becomes a bit of a tongue twister, but we offer digital content marketing solutions.
Yes.
Our mission is to really help all the companies out there that are looking to establish a digital footprint to make sure that they can do so effectively. We use 3 strategic pillars to do so. One is
listening.
The second one is engaging, and the third one
is measuring.
That's us in a nutshell. You want to know more about us? Please visit our website, which is eNitiate.solutions. We've got stuff, lots and lots of blog posts that you can read about the stuff that we do and the topics that are of interest to us. We love blogging so much that everyone at eNitiate does blog. That's how good we are at what we do.
Yeah, and in fact, speaking of blogging, the next person in line is supposed to be Bongo Musa. But nonetheless, we've got a good menu for you. And normally we start with a breakdown on what we have been tracking at eNitiate for the past 7 days since we last spoke to you. And then we normally follow that up with a look at around what happened around South Africa. And everybody's waiting for the State of the Nation address happening tomorrow. So we're going to give you our take on that and how the netizens, those who have spoken, are looking forward to what the president is going to address tomorrow. And then we check out what happened across the continent of Africa, and then we do a global take. That's our menu. That's like a 3-course menu approach to the content that we've prepared for you today.
Absolutely. Okay, we're trying again. Let's see if we can get hold of Sitawa. She is currently joining us, and we're hoping that bandwidth is going to behave.
So play ball, isn't it?
And it so happens that the issue is not with Kenyans people. The issue is actually here at home. Because I know that, there are times when our own fellow South Africans think that maybe it's not as good out there as it is here at home. Truth be told, Kenya has got one of the best bandwidth speeds on the continent right now, and we'll tell you a bit about that some other time. Suffice to say, at this stage, we're still battling yet again to get hold of Sitawa, and the problem is us, as I have indicated. It is not her. We felt that we should start with her because we wanted to really get this hangout out of the way, given that we've been trying for the past 2 weeks before this one. So the issue that we're sitting with is this whole bandwidth speed, which we hope that we'll find a solution for.
Let's see if we've made a good connection with Sitawa from Kenya.
About to do so, but I'll tell you what, I suggest that in the meantime, maybe we touch on some of the other topics whilst we're trying to get hold of her. Vince, from the eNitiate side of things, in the past 7 days, what has happened is that we have been working hard to make sure that we can improve our capability as a team, and we've sent 2 of our team members on a course on copywriting, digital copywriting, which I'm really excited about, because hopefully, given that we do such lots of work insofar as blogging is concerned, we're going to be seeing the quality of our blogging going up substantially. That's on eNitiate, and we have been reporting in the past weeks that we are tracking Sona 15. We will talk about it under what's happening in Mzansi just now. And the last one is we've really been working hard, Vincent. You've done some sterling work in making sure that we spread our wings on the continent, calling all sorts of parts of the continent to speak to the various people, and that's how we managed to bed down the appointment with this gentleman whose name I'm not going to mention now, and we'll be talking to him at 8:40 our time, GMT plus 2 at this stage. So that's pretty much what we've been doing on the eNitiate side of things. We've got all sorts of things that have been happening on the national front as well in South Africa. And those things include the following. The first one is the fact that mobile phone brands are increasing even more in our country. Netizens will remember we've been speaking about this literally every week in the last 3 or 4 weeks now. And we've learned that 2 more brands are on our shores. The first one is Acer. People know that Acer is a computer brand. They have launched their own mobile phone, and they'll be in the country, I'm told, sometime really very soon. Microsoft, we know that Microsoft bought Nokia, and there've been lots and lots of talks about the fact that Microsoft will be replacing Nokia in all the Nokia branding. They are bringing out Microsoft Lumia, which will be in the country sometime soon. If not, it is already in the country. The interesting thing is the price point for Microsoft Lumia. You would think that, with Microsoft being a fairly established brand and, not a cheap brand, one must indicate. you would think that they were going to be pitching at a price level which is a bit higher than the bottom of the range, so to speak.
Right.
We're told that actually the Lumia is going to be coming in at a far cheaper price at actually 1.7 thousand
rand.
Yeah, which is a fairly affordable price.
I think it's one of those market introductory prices.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
But I think they caught a lot of people by surprise by pricing at that level, because we were thinking they'd be pricing a bit higher to in line with the pricing structure of Microsoft to date. One thing that I'll be keeping my watch on, Vincent, is what happens with Skype, because we know that Microsoft bought Skype at a fairly hefty price, which is about 8.5 billion, is it? 8.5 billion dollars. I think that was the quoted price that they bought Skype at. It will be interesting to see what they do with Skype now that they are coming out as Microsoft Lumia. I'm fond of calling on Skype because it is cheaper than the normal rates of the other mobile operators. The only challenge that we've been sitting with, again, as we experiencing tonight, is the bandwidth issue.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see what they do on that score. So that's on the mobile phone side of things, and obviously one wonders, with so many brands coming into the market, where is the level of differentiation going to be now? Because most of them are, except for Microsoft, obviously, because they're using their own operating system. But the Asus and the other brands that are coming on stream, they are on Android. So it means that from an operating system point of view, there isn't any differentiation that one can speak about. One wonders where the levels of differentiation are going to be. I suspect actually that they're going to be at a hardware level, because that's where they will have the leverage. Other people are debating that that is going to be at a branding level. Only time will tell.
Yeah, we can't wait to see how that market ruffling changes the game, eh?
Absolutely. Let's see how it goes. The other thing which happened in the last 7 days at a South African level, Vince, is that the MEC of the Education MEC of Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, who we've been speaking about for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we have. He's quite popular, eh?
He's definitely keeping at it. Talking about that, I see that Sitawa is back with us.
Okay.
I see that Sitawa is back with us. Let's try and see if we can get hold of Sitawa so we can speak. Sitawa? Sitawa?
Yes?
How are you? Man!
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
I'm fine, thank you.
Awesome, awesome, my sis. Let's get into it. We are dying to speak to you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yo, you are so clear yourself, my sis. You are so clear. How are you, Sitawa? Okay. Are you ready for us to hit the road, Sitawa?
Okay.
Cool. So we are talking.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Awesome. So we're talking about the summer bunnies tonight.
Yes, summer bunnies.
Oh, my sis. We were trying to make sure that we speak about this 3 weeks ago, whilst obviously the vibe was still kind of there about. I presume that all the summer bunnies have kind of flown back to their place of stay by now. Am I right?
Yes. I think the last bunch should have left last week.
I see. Okay. For the benefit of everybody who doesn't know what a summer bunny
Myself
is,
included.
and Vince included, and I must apologize. I'm here with Vince, and he's listening intently. He's just as intrigued by this summer bunny vibe that's playing itself out
For weeks on weeks. I've been waiting.
Yeah. So tell us, Sitawa, what is the definition of a summer bunny, really? Are you there?
Okay, so Summer Bunnies is a name that we use here in Kenya to give the people who are Kenyans but are either working or living or have gone outside the country to study. So mostly it's given to people who've gone either to the States or to Europe or to Asia. So they are Kenyans, but they're either working or living or studying outside Kenya. And then during the holiday season, they come back home. So they come back. The whole hopping, the way bunnies hop from place to place. So the whole hopping from Kenya to wherever country they're living or working or studying in is where the bunnies bit of it comes in, and then they mostly travel during the summer.
Cool stuff. And for the netizens out there, I must tell you that Sitawa is very big online. Look her up. Her full name is Sitawa Wafula. She is on all the major social networks. And she's doing some awesome work in Kenya, and we will talk more about that in the next week. So back to the topic. Sitawa, from R. Kelly's song, summer bunnies tend to refer to females. And I take it that, from a Kenyan perspective, summer bunnies means both males and females. Am I right?
Yeah. So
Go on. Go on, my sis. I'm listening.
yes, it's both male and female. And I remember when we were to have this discussion, that's when someone told me about that song, and I went and listened to it, and I went and also checked up the meaning of summer bunnies on Urban Dictionary, and it's just something completely different from what we call them.
Yeah.
Because then it describes a certain look on women, but that's not how we use it. We use it just for those people who are Kenyans, but they're living outside the country.
I see.
Or Sitawa, you guys use it more innocently.
Did you hear what Vince said? You guys use it more innocently than R. Kelly does.
Sorry, I missed that. I didn't get that.
Yeah, he was saying you use it more innocently from a Kenyan perspective. Yeah. Sitawa? Okay, let's keep going.
Let's keep going, yeah.
It is fine. Now, here's a question then, Sitawa. What led to this trend? Because, I went and read up on summer bunnies, and a lot is being written about them online. What led to this trend exactly? How big is this group of summer bunnies? I suppose that's the question.
Sorry, really, I didn't get that.
Okay, let me ask again. How big is the group of summer bunnies?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Awesome. So the question is, how big is this group of summer bunnies of Kenyan descent? How big is it?
It's a big population because around the 90s, especially 80s, 90s, a lot of people went out of the country, especially to look for what they'll say, quote unquote, better education.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who went. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm listening, my sis. You go ahead.
Good. So a lot of them went to the States or to Europe or to Asia and decided that that's where they want to stay. The whole, what we call the whole brain drain thing. So they found that education out there seemed much better, job opportunities out there seemed much better. So a lot of people who went during the 80s and 90s still live in those countries that they went to study. But then we have a new crop of people who just go out to study and then come back and start their jobs in the country. So it's, I would say it's like 20 to 30% of especially the youth population. Yeah, because then you get the older generation, they go out, but they come back because either they have family or they have other engagements. So they see that they want to come back, or they want to use whatever knowledge they've gotten out there and experiences to come and help build Kenya. But then you have this crop of people who say, I am done with the country, I'm going to look for quote-unquote greener pastures.
I see. Okay, so here's a question. You will remember that it took a few days trying to pin you down because you were busy with the summer bunnies and dinners and all those sorts of things, yeah? So the question...
I have to say that on radio.
on this radio, we are as transparent as the internet itself is, my sis. Now, here's a question, Sitawa. Because you are based in Kenya, and obviously you must be keeping some kind of tabs with the summer bunnies who, by definition, don't live in Kenya. They come only during the summer holidays. How do you keep the contact going outside of the summer holiday season?
Okay, I'd say social media has a very big part.
Okay.
Because then you see, in the earlier days when there was no Twitter and Facebook and WhatsApp and all those other social media sites, you had to write a letter and wait for like two months to get a response. But now that you can know, like right now I can tell you so and so is awake, so and so is at work, so and so is at class. It's much easier to keep in touch with them real time. Before it was really hard because then you had to write a letter and it had to be a novel size of letter, because then you have to tell them what's going on with your school, what is going on with your work, what is going on with your relationship, what is going, like, it becomes a very, very long thing. But now with social media, it makes it very, very easy to just get in touch with them and communicate with them. And it's like they're just in the next room.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Social media has made things very, very easy.
Well, you've heard it for yourselves, dear netizens on the continent and in the diaspora. The digital technology is playing a major role in making sure that those who are away from home can still keep touch with those who are still at home. And that's how we roll in Africa insofar as digital technology is concerned. That's the value that it is adding to our lives, as Sitawa has rightly put it. My sis, thanks a lot. That kind of does it insofar as our hangout tonight is concerned. I'm so glad that we had the time to chat, and thanks for being patient with us. We are chatting next week again, yeah?
Yes, we are. And I hope my chocolate will be here.
Oh, now it's your turn to tell on me, isn't it? Well,
what's this?
We will talk about it next week, so you can tell the world the whole story about the chocolate. So, my sis, have a great one. Thank you very much for your time. We will get into we will get into something much more deeper to understand what exactly do you do in Kenya, because you're doing a phenomenal job in making sure that something is taken care of, which under normal circumstances doesn't tend to happen. And I'm looking forward to the stories that you told me offline about your work. I'm looking forward to it, and I would like to invite all the netizens to join us next week when we're chatting to you about the work that you do in Kenya. Awesome, my sis. We will chat again next week, yeah?
Okay, cool. Talk to you next week. Have a lovely evening.
Thanks, my sis. You too. Cheers for now.
Okay, bye. Lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you for that one, Brawili. Thank you for that one. Wow. It's so great to finally have had the conversation with Sitawa. It's just gone 8:30, and we've just learned a bit more about Kenya's version of Amakoduka. These are the people that leave for the big cities, and then go December they come back to just mingle and just get a taste of home as they miss it. So that is our session. Remember, Sitawa will be joining us on a more regular basis, provided the bandwidth plays ball. So let's just take this breather. We'll be back after this.
I must tell you, I love our Minister of Sport.
Mr. Razmataz.
It was good to see that Professor Padi Lehohla from Stats SA was there. And
he was wearing a yellow suit.
He was wearing a pink tie.
Okay, he went conservative this time. He went conservative,
pink, my bro.
Anyway, it's been taught how to use tablets to produce, as opposed to use tablets to just consume some more. And the point we're making is we shouldn't be complaining about these things. We should be the one telling the stories if we want the world to listen to us. We can't be asking why are the media telling only the French stories and they're not telling the African stories. Are we telling those stories ourselves as Africans? That's the question we're asking. You can check us out on eNitiate.solutions. eNitiate spelled E-N for Nelly, I-T-I-A-T-E.solutions. Check us out and see what we do. Welcome back, netizens of the beautiful continent of Africa. Remember that this show, which is eNitiate Visual Radio Show, is really about putting digital Africa out there to the world, because we've realized that if we don't take up this challenge ourselves and really put our own lovely continent out there, there's going to be trouble. So we're doing exactly that, and you will see the reason why when we speak to this gentleman, whose name I still want to keep under wraps until we speak to him in literally 7 minutes. Why this is the case, that we have to take the challenge ourselves and speak about our own continent. Are you in agreement with me, Vince?
I'm definitely in agreement. I mean, with ministers such as, in fact, MECs such as Banyaza Lesufi trying to digitize the classroom.
Yes.
I think he went to the extent of saying, obviously for Gauteng, in 3 years' time, he wants to see a model that sounds a bit like, it sounds like a political slogan. One learner, one tablet. King, what's the other one? One teacher, one laptop. And then lastly, one classroom, one smart board.
Absolutely.
It sounds like a political slogan, but it's a good vision.
It certainly is. And we know that MEC Panyaza has done a great lot of work in trying to make sure that there is digitization of the classroom. He's already started with 7 schools in Tembisa, and I was wondering why Tembisa, by the way. It's because that's where the MEC comes from.
Is that where it is?
Absolutely. So he's looking
charity
after his
begins
own
at home,
backyard. You know what?
Charity does begin at home.
I actually don't care where he starts, as long as he starts, which is exactly what he's done. And I'm really very proud of MEC Lesufi. I must tell you something else, which is a bit outside of what we cover on this show, which is digital stuff. The MEC has also promised that he wants to make sure every grade 11, when they are ready to go on to grade 12, they have a K53 license. Every single one of the grade 11s, which is a bold statement, and I love that about him.
Yeah, no, better early than late, because we come from the old school, man. We had to get that driver's license way after grade 11.
I tell you,
Yeah.
I tell you.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Now from the country of Mzansi to Africa, we brought you the Hangout with Sitawa, where we were talking about summer bunnies. We are about to speak to this gentleman,
Lukonga Lukonga Lindunda. Okay, Lukonga Lindunda.
Apology, Lukonga. We're just too excited, and in the process, which we're getting ourselves tongue twisted here.
It's all right, Lukonga. The other thing is we're experiencing a crazy heat wave, so it's difficult to
I'm told it was 35 degrees today in Gauteng.
ask me. I was outside at about 12 noon, and it was just
that can be good.
yeah. Anyway,
And I'm told this heat wave is going to hit all the way until the weekend. We're expecting 40 degrees by the weekend. It's really going to be cooking. But back to Lukonga. Lukonga hails all the way from Zambia. We told you we are conquering the continent when it comes to digital Africa.
True.
And we're doing exactly that. Lukonga is actually the co-founder and executive director of Bongohive.
It's got a very impressive
Oh, yes,
CV.
it does. And it's a long one at that.
So look him up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Lukonga. Let me pronounce his surname again because that's how you will find him on LinkedIn. Lukonga Lindunda.
Yes.
Cool.
He's doing lots and lots of work in the startup field and making sure that, he offers his valuable experience to all the young ones who are looking to start up businesses. So we'll be chatting to him in a very short while so that we can understand exactly who is Bongohive, what do they do in Zambia, and how are they linking up with everybody else on the continent. And when you hear about it, you will understand why this particular hangout is an important one, because we want to understand a few things about, what the continent is doing in the space of innovations. Okay?
Awesome, cool. So let's just finish those issues on our plate and then jump through to Lukonga.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
I see where you're going with this.
Hello.
It was with sadness, obviously, we learnt, I think it was 3 days ago now, that
Thereabout.
the Nigerians, or the Nigerian government, to be more exact, has agreed with the military that they're going to postpone the elections which were going to be taking place today. Actually, today is what, the 11th?
Tomorrow.
Yes. Obviously coinciding with SONA 15.
No, the 11th is today.
Yes, tomorrow is the 12th. Yes,
Okay.
It was the elections were going to be happening tomorrow. For all reasons which those of you who follow the news on the continent and what's happening in Nigeria specifically, you will know what's happening to the north of the country. So that is the reason which has been advanced. It's kind of sad. It will take 6 weeks, we're told. So the elections have been rescheduled for 6 weeks, so they'll be happening towards the end of March. And while we edit, remember we did put something out to show you which countries on the continent are going to be having elections. Remember the 16 countries that are supposed to be having elections on the continent this year. The total number is 22 elections, because in some countries there's referendums and then elections. In other countries there's municipal and presidential elections, and so on and so on. So we're hoping that Nigeria will have their elections this year still. It will be a good sign of democracy taking hold. Okay, it is now 8:40.
Yeah.
Let's get hold of Lukonga, bring him online so that we can do this thing. Hey, Lukonga is already online and waiting patiently for us. How's it, Lukonga? Hey, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me? Lukonga? Okay.
Let's give it another bash.
Yeah, let's give it
another. He sounds very keen and excited. So
oh yes,
I'm sure he's a busy man. I mean, he's a bit about Lukonga. While you're doing that, Brawili, let me see if I can locate this. Okay, he's a fellow. He has been. He's a fellow for. I'll get the LinkedIn page. Okay, so he has over 7 years of experience working with entrepreneurs and development partners. His mission is to elevate Lusaka and the rest of Zambia as a top destination to live, work, learn, and play by helping entrepreneurs, startups, and growth companies to start, stay, and prosper in the local ecosystem. Okay, now here's the part about him being a fellow. He is a 2014 Mandela Washington Fellow.
Can you hear me, Lukonga?
I can hear you.
Awesome,
I
man.
hope my connection stays the same.
Let's hope so. I must, I love Africans who make a plan, Lukonga. Can I tell the netizens where you are right now? Because I from your video, it was clear that you are actually in your car. I love Africans who make a plan, my brother.
I'm packed outside my office. So
Yeah.
I'm on the Wi-Fi right now.
I am so grateful, Lukonga, that you could make it, man, and do whatever it takes so that you can be online with us tonight. We are so excited to have you on our show. So how are things, man?
Very good, very busy, but exciting as well.
I'm here with Vincent. He was busy reading your long profile on LinkedIn. You are indeed a very busy man.
You've been stalking me, eh?
Oh yes, we've been stalking you like it's going out of fashion. Lukonga, let's get right ahead whilst the bandwidth is behaving, man. You are the co-founder and executive director of Bongohive.
Yes.
What is Bongohive?
So Bongohive is a technology and innovation hub in Lusaka, Zambia, and our primary focus is on being able to provide conducive environment and physical space for young and budding innovators and entrepreneurs. So
essentially, you are running an IT hub, right?
Yeah, we like to say it loosely that we are focused on technology, but really the idea that technology cuts across many industries is what we are focused on. So you don't necessarily have to build a mobile application, but if your business is an e-commerce business and needs an app, then the context is right for us to support you.
Absolutely. I mean, we talking digital technology. How big is the digital technology movement in Zambia right now?
It's growing. We started around about 3 years ago. So
okay.
There's lots of potential. Zambia presents great opportunities and also challenges in that it's a huge country, but we are only about 12, 13 million people. And when you look at the distances, you look at the vastness of the country and how you can reach the rural masses with technologies, it's both expensive and also just requires a very big plan on how we can get each and every person in Zambia online.
Absolutely true. So you are based in Lusaka, as you've said.
Yes, we are based in Lusaka.
Cool stuff. So you have indicated in your profile that Bongohive is the first and only IT hub at the moment. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that's true.
Cool stuff. Now, there are more than one cities in Zambia, and not a lot of people know Zambia as well as some of us do. Now, here's the question. How many big hubs, from a city perspective, how many big hubs are there in Zambia right now? There is Lusaka and?
Kitwe.
Yeah.
Andola.
Andola.
And then Livingston comes, I think, fourth in that space. Then we have the other smaller provincial centers.
I see. So the fact that you are based in Lusaka alone, how do you reach out to the other 3 hubs?
It's a big challenge. We also communicate with the different communities in the different cities. Just last year, towards the end of last year, we had a series of events in collaboration with other partners. We had a couple of events in Kitwe and Sobezi.
I see.
Focused on entrepreneurship. So there's always a possibility of partnering with other institutions so we can reach many more places.
Yeah. And in fact, now that you've mentioned the partnerships, is the government on board from a partnership point of view?
not from a partnership point of view.
Yeah.
But we are involved in different forums where we give our input, whether it's on policy around entrepreneurship or broadband or all these things. We certainly get to sit on the table as well to give our perspectives. So even though we don't have direct support from government, we are still able to interact and air our opinions and views about entrepreneurship and innovation in Zambia.
I see. And what about business? Are they
business? Interesting. For business, I mean, we have grown quite a good mentor network.
See.
For most of our events, we have local successful business people who come to offer their mentorship.
I see.
Whether it's in events like Startup Weekend, hackathons, or one-on-one supports to startups. We've managed to grow a healthy network, and we're still growing it. There's definitely appetite to get involved, especially from the business side of things. The business leaders and companies, there's an appetite to get involved with entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. And it's all about now creating the mechanisms which reduce risk, also make their time worthwhile, but also that it's not just about a good feeling about being involved with entrepreneurship. We really want to make sure that these interactions also result in businesses growing and making money and also having an impact on the economy.
Absolutely. Now, how big is your membership from a Bongohive perspective? How many members have you got right now?
So we run a very loose membership structure.
I see.
We just moved to a new space, so we're introducing a new membership structure.
Uh-huh.
But according to our calculations, we are able to reach around about 7,500 people across Zambia through our different networks.
Yeah.
And in terms of startups, we are currently working with just over 10 different startups at different levels.
Yeah.
And that is exciting. We just moved to a new space which will provide more workspace for startups as well. So it's exciting times for us as well as we keep growing and learning as well in our interactions with different entrepreneurs at different stages.
Okay, so the 10 startups that you have, more or less, what kind of businesses are they in? Is it in the technology space? Okay.
We have one business as online grocery shopping business where you're able to buy groceries and have them delivered to your home.
Okay.
We have another startup that focuses on alternative art. They are doing all sorts of crazy things, street culture and things like that, and we are supporting them develop better business model, but also be able to introduce technology in what they do. It's pretty varied, and some of them just work in with ideas and want help with building a proper business plan. Very soon we'll be introducing a social entrepreneurship boot camp, which will run for 6 months in collaboration with the U.S. Embassy. So we're hoping that, especially for social entrepreneurship, we can get more startups that are focused on solving the great problems that we have in our country.
That's awesome stuff. For those of the netizens who've just joined us, we are chatting with Lukonga, who is the co-founder and executive director of Bongohive. It's an IT hub that's based out in Lusaka, Zambia. Lukonga and his team are doing awesome work in really encouraging a startup culture. And as he's just indicated to us, you guys are responsible for 10 startups since you've been around in the last 3 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, here's the interesting part that I want to talk about, Lukonga, and I know that we're running out of time.
you, as in Bongohive, put together a map of IT hubs in sub-Saharan Africa. Can you confirm that?
Yes, we did.
Our account gave us about 117 hubs. There or thereabout. Okay. Now, the question to you, Lukonga, is from your perspective, why is it that there are so many hubs around the continent, and yet when you listen to the innovations that are being reported on, there isn't a lot at this stage? What's your view?
Yeah, it's interesting. When we started that map, a lot of people, big organizations as well, big players did not understand just how many spaces were coming up, or what the environment was like in Africa when it comes to innovation.
Yeah.
So our goal was to be able to highlight innovation in Africa, and that there were spaces coming up. And these have got varied business models, or let's just say models. Some are government sponsored, some are very private like ours, and some in the mix, somewhere there public-private. And some of them, like us, started right from the bottom, really with no support at all. And when you look at the economic status in different countries, you look at the local entrepreneurship ecosystems, you find that most of Africa, the ecosystems are pretty nascent. The interplay between private sector, government, academia, non-profits is not well balanced, and that's why you find that innovations do not grow beyond just an idea.
I see.
In order for you to get an idea to market, it's not just about having a physical space with nice internet.
True.
At the end of the day, once you go out to market, you still are affected by policy, price of internet or technology. You're looking at skills gap, literacy levels, and all those things. So as much as there are lots of ideas coming up in innovation hubs, there's still a lot of work that needs to be put in to ensure that the ecosystems in which these innovations exist are also healthy and they thrive. So it's not just one young entrepreneur trying to push his idea, but these are ideas that are supported by the market, that are supported by government or private sector. And when we look at countries like the US or in Europe, you find that there is a pretty much healthy balance between what government does and what the private sector does, as opposed to here, where you find that in most cases, non-profits are more involved than governments when it comes to ensuring that people can create jobs, can create businesses, and things like that. So it's more about how balanced is the economy. And when you look at countries like Nigeria or Kenya or South Africa, they are thriving and you have more innovations because there's a balance between what private sector does and what government does. And also other players like academia when it comes to the skills that young people have, and also the mindset. Are they entrepreneurial? Are they looking for jobs? So there's a lot at play, but hubs play only one role. It's important that you see that in the context of the ecosystem and how the interplay is between the different players.
I agree with you absolutely. So the second last question to you, Lukonga, is: are you working with other innovation hubs across the continent, as in Bongohive now?
So we are part of AfriLabs network, which is the network of about 35 different hubs in different countries. We're also part of a small network here in Southern Africa called Southern Africa Innovation Support Program, where we are connected to different hubs as well and innovation spaces in the region. With our partnership with UNICEF that is coming up, we are also getting connected to the UNICEF labs, and also we just connect with different hubs even beyond Africa, where we are part of the Google for Entrepreneurs network. So there's definitely a lot of knowledge sharing amongst different hubs, whether in Africa or just across the world.
Awesome, my brother. You gave us lots and lots of insights, and I'm hoping that all the netizens listening to this show tonight are excited about the fact that we managed to get hold of you. You made time in your very busy schedule. And what's also equally awesome was that the line was so loud and clear. Thank you very much for your time, man. We're hoping to chat to you again in the future sometime. We'll find an interesting topic, and hopefully you will grace our shores again from an internet perspective. Up until then, we're going to kind of end it here. Everything of the best. We'll chat again in the future.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Lukonga.
Cheers for now.
All right.
Awesome stuff indeed. It's a chock-a-blocker show, and it has brought us to this juncture where we are literally 2 minutes away from 9 o'clock. But I am happy with how that worked out, in contrast to the Sitawa interview. But the one thing in common between the two sessions is that we had two bold and enthusiastic Africans representing their different parts of the continent. So I'm happy about that.
No, it really went well. I didn't know what to expect. Which is great because it's anticipation as opposed to thinking you know it all. It's obvious that Africans are doing it for themselves, and there's lots and lots of stuff that's happening on this continent that even we don't know about, whilst we are from the continent. So it's been great indeed. We think that we're going to kind of end it here. There wasn't a lot left out anyway. Suffice to say that next week we wanna cover a few things quickly. One is we want to talk about the Smartboard digital education software. My wife is in the education industry, and she shared the software with me. Awesome stuff. I want to actually do some more digging so that we can talk about it. We still want to cover the African Innovation Foundation, and we're actually trying to see if we can get hold of somebody so we can tap to them. We are going to speak to Sol Molobi. Sol Molobi is from the Department of International Relations from South Africa, and is based in Italy, Milan, Italy. So we're going to chat to him to find out how it's going there, and some interesting insights that he can share with us. So that's us in a nutshell. Thank you for hanging out with us on eNitiate Visual Radio. We are hosted by Radio Junto. It is www.radiojunto.co.za. We're hoping to catch up with you again next week. This is Brawili and
myself, Vince West. Let's do it again next time. Thank you. Bye.